on the track. Don't just keep the weeds on the side. Weeds don't just stop there. And the crew didn't get out there to weed kill yet, you know. Get the weeds in the track. If it's not a used, or really commonly used or frequently used siding, this is obviously pretty much a public delivery type of platform. Team platform, team track. So that local people that don't have a building right next to it can receive product in town. Ties laying along the side of the track, right? Either been pulled out, they're real old, weathered, new ones, fresh ones for work that the crews are about to do. This layout, it includes a complete signaling system that's done to code. So all the standards of the controlled layout, controlled track are indicated on the signals. This is done by the signals are supplied by Custom Signals. Terry Christopher, great guy. If you ever have a need to do that kind of work, I highly recommend Terry. He's really good at what he does. It's not real easy to install, but it's as easy as you can possibly make it. He uses telephone connectors, but it's wonderful. It really adds a whole nother dimension to the layout. Again, looking at the treatment, the scenic treatments, the different types of grasses, different heights of grasses, different colors of ballast. It's not just one color. You can see the desert sand colors, the gravel that they've laid around the building, different colors in the rock work as it transitions around the table.
Roger, before you leave this scene, one of the important aspects, I think, of backdrops is that when you start scenicking your layout, your scenic elements must feed into the backdrop theme, whatever it is. That's how you make your backdrop three-dimensional. Have you given any thought in part of your business to get into photographic backdrops? Because painting backdrops in my layout, which is quite large, would be financially prohibitive.
Well, we haven't gotten into them. There are suppliers out there. Photographic backdrops are definitely a way to go. The problem with some people, especially for me, is it may not be locale specific. You know, they tend to be generic. If that's really the city you're going to model, and that's the appropriate choice, sure, go with the photographic. There's also, you can incorporate photographic elements at the back end of the layout, doing just cutouts, profile cuts, and then doing the sky that you want. And that's another alternative. There's so many ideas out there in terms of scenic techniques that just explore them. Just explore them. And there's so many opportunities and people with great ideas. But again, when I have a customer who says, here's a picture I took out in my backyard. This is what I want it to look like on that wall. We can do that. You know? And we don't have to do it photographically, so that we can proportion it and make it fit that wall. You know, doing that you can do it, obviously you can, with a photograph. Photograph has one style to it. It's very real. I mean, it's like a real thing. You almost reach out and touch it. But this is so. It just has a different quality about it.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's not pure photographic. It's far more personal, and I think it worked real well for me.
One of the important things that you get out of a photographic backdrops is degradation of the sky blue, which is very difficult to replicate when it's hand painted. But when you take a photograph of a distant scene, you get the degradation of the sky blue, which even makes your forced perspective, the layout comes even more visual. But
Well,
you got to do photographic.
Again, this is all hand painted. I think we get a really nice transition in terms of the sky colors. But more importantly, what I am saying is put it in there. If you can put it in a backdrop, put it in a backdrop, because it just changes what you get, the results that you get. In this particular case, the other thing we did is, although this fits into a corner of the room, side of the room, our table doesn't go right up against the wall. It's 1.5 inches from 3 sides. And the reason we do that is we have an LED strip light that runs along the base, behind the mountains, the edge of the table. So we can actually do, just like they do on a stage in a theater, you have a footlight that's placed on the back edge there. So I can change the color, wash color, and do sunsets, change the color of the backdrop. Cycling, yes, exactly. Yeah. You just put a ground rail in front of it, the cycle lights or footlights or cyclorama lights, and illuminate that back. So with LED, the advent of LEDs, I mean, just opens up so many different opportunities. And they even have the color changing LEDs that you can get in the rope and you can dial in whatever color you want. So, and you can do it, if you can tie it into a computer, then, you know, we're just, again, I'm just talking cost and expertise, but you can literally program it so you actually transition through the day. So. All right.
Do you stay with the season and the decade for years?
That's a great question. I'm almost going to be out of time here, but let me answer it this way. You can there's three dimensions of people most commonly working, right? That's the width, the height, depth, right? And that'll give us the three-dimensional pieces. I've shown you some two-dimensional applications, like the mountain road, right? That has a three-dimensional effect, but it's almost purely two-dimensional. There's a fourth dimension. That fourth dimension is time. And how do we model that? It's the weathering. It's our choice of season. It's things like on this particular layout, I have roadbed. I have multiple layers of roadbed, so that when they come in, they've dressed it, and 10 years it's been down. Of course, they're supposed to do it every 5, I think it is. But you get a layer of ballast that remains from the past. So you can talk about time in a lot of different ways on a layout, and that is certainly one of them. And what I kind of jumped here a little bit, let me show you a short video. I've got to go back again to grab the right one. No, that's not the one I want. Oh. Copy videos. Let's try this one. There you go. People ask us all the time, and if you go out and see the layouts out there, how do we do it? Okay, this is how we do it. This is urethane, trimer urethane foam. I have a handout here for anybody who's interested. This is a urethane type foam they use for pipe insulation. So it is inherently fire retardant. It has a good density, but you can see where it's soft enough to carve to some greater or lesser degree. Far more carvable than your styrene type foams, your blue foams that you get at Home Depot. Limited availability, pricey, but incredible to work with. Any type of cutting tool can be used to shape the blocks here. So what I'm demonstrating here are some of the different types of carving tools. And this is a little flush cut saw. It's made by Stanley. I'm going to jump forward just a little bit here, but I think you can. I gave you an opportunity to look and see the kind of transition and change that was accomplished with very little bit of effort. This is a wire brush. This one is a stainless steel. It lasts a lot longer, but you can see where just looking at the brush, what kind of type of cut it's going to do. When people ask, well, how do you get all those little, right? All those little cuts. Doesn't take much time at all. This is, again, work that you can do. Look at those real rocks. What kind of rocks are they? Are they sharp, angular rocks? Okay, I can cut that with a saw. The striated type of rocks, I can do with that. Here, obviously, that weathering,